Hey everyone, my name is John Jericho Jose from BIT1K, here to explain to you the procedures of refrigerant recovery, moisture removal, vacuum, and refrigerant charging procedure. So we should prepare the things that we will be needing like manifold gauge, vacuum pump, empty refrigerant tank, digital weighing scale, and safety glasses. We should also prepare the refrigerant and oil additives that we will be using in our car's AC. But to find out what refrigerant it takes, we should look for the sticker within the engine bay. Usually, it's in the top of the pillar of the radiator or anywhere within the hood. We should also look if we need a refrigerant can or tank, depending on the system. Step 1 in refrigerant recovery. Put on the manifold gauge couplers to car aircon system ports. You can see the aircon system ports in your owner's manual. And also remember, make sure hand valves are closed. Low pressure side is blue and the high pressure side is red. They have different sizes, so you won't get confused. Secure the tightness of each ACME adapter. 2 is to open both low pressure and high pressure side adapter. And remember, look at the gauge and see to it that it says 0 psi to ensure that there are no leaks. Step 3 is to connect the charging port, the color yellow line, to the vacuum pump. And remember, hand tighten only. Do not use any tools to tighten the adapters. Don't let any leak happen. 4 is open the vacuum pump. But remember, before opening the vacuum pump, check the gauge and it still should read 0 psi before opening the vacuum. 5 is to open both low side and high side hand valves. And remember, after 15 to 45 minutes, depending on how big the aircon system is, check if the gauge read about 30" of mercury. Step 6 is to close the vacuum pump and close both low side and high side hand valves and leave it for a few minutes. Monitor the gauge if the system leaks and must stay on 30" of mercury. If the gauge stays the same, refrigerant recovery is finished. The next step is moisture removal and vacuuming. To start the moisture removal and vacuuming, the first step is to open the vacuum pump and then open the low side and high side hand valve. This could evacuate all the moisture and air on the system. The second step is to monitor the gauges for 15 to 45 minutes. If the gauges still stays the same and it doesn't have any fluctuations, it means that the system has no leaks. The next steps would be close the low side and high side hand valves to cut off the vacuum. Next is to close the vacuum pump. And that would conclude our moisture removal and vacuuming. The next procedure would be refrigerant charging. First step is to remove the ACME adapter to the vacuum pump. If you are changing a system component or part, you should add a refrigerant oil in the system. Look for the car aircon sticker under the hood so you would know the right amount of refrigerant to charge in the system. If you need to add some refrigerant oil, you can put it in the ACME adapter line originally connected in the vacuum pump. You can put just the right amount of refrigerant oil and also add on some UV dye for future inspections on leakages. After putting that refrigerant oil, you can now connect that ACME adapter yellow line onto the refrigerant can or tank. Now the next step is to open the refrigerant valve of the refrigerant tank or can that you are using and try to purge the yellow line by pinching the valve or loosening the ACME line adapter until a small amount of refrigerant comes out. After doing all of those steps, the next procedures would be start the engine, turn on the AC, put the blower motor into a low setting, and then put a thermometer on the vent. That is, put the can or tank of refrigerant into a digital weighing scale to ensure that the proper refrigerant level are flowing into your system. So next step is to slowly open the low side hand valve because the refrigerant might spike out and become a liquid and it could damage the compressor. After recharging with the right amount of refrigerant, you should first close the refrigerant tank or can valve. After that is closing all of the valves in the system. After that is removing the high pressure side adapter and then the low pressure side adapter. Be sure to put back all the caps in the ports connected in the AC system. Check for the temperature and you have just recharged your refrigerant in your car's AC system. Thank you for watching and listening to me. If you would like to know more, please search more information about your car, make, and model. And remember, always do it step by step. Don't skip anything.